Man, I'll say it. I've officially lost hope. Modern wrestling games, they aren't for me anymore. If you still enjoy them, cool. Literally, more power to you, man. I'm jealous. Because for over a decade now, I have been doing nothing but trying to chase the high that I felt of playing wrestling games from back when I was a kid. A huge reason as to why I am such a nerd about pro wrestling today is because of those goddamn games. Back when the SmackDown vs. Raw series was poppin', it felt like everybody, and I mean everybody in the fucking world, played those games. Even if you didn't watch wrestling on TV, it felt like everybody had some of the action figures and everybody played the video games. Surely one of your friends had a PS2 or an Xbox 360, and after school, you were at their house. Like, I have such fond memories of Fridays after school. Me and my friends, we'd all walk back to my house, because I was literally right down the street from the school, and we would spend hours just running John Cena versus Edge versus Undertaker versus Carlito. Everybody would fight over who gets to play as Jeff Hardy. My god, we would spend hours each taking turns creating our cause, all saved on my Xbox. So then every single time we'd come to my house after school, we could just pick our cause, grab a second controller, and absolutely destroy each other. Those were the days, dude. And the craziest part is that my friends weren't really even into wrestling like that. I always got made fun of in my group for being the fake wrestling fan, like, oh my god, you actually like that shit? You know it's fake, right? But the second we got back to my house and we started playing those SmackDown vs. Raw games, that shit died. Absolutely everyone loved them. Like, even if they weren't wrestling fans, you could have fun with those games. They were just so easy to pick up and play. Like, you didn't need to know anything about wrestling going in. You didn't even need to know the controls. Everybody, for the most part, just button mashed until they figured it out. And then once they actually performed a cool move on the screen, it was like, oh shit, this is fun. Because the animations were fucking brutal. It wasn't hard to hit the moves. And the move animations were so fucking over the top that it always got a great reaction from everybody in the room. It was so easy to create new fans of the game because you could just button mash, hit a cool move, and then be like, oh shit, I'm hooked. Even just those fucking soundtracks, dude. Oh my god. Those soundtracks literally are the reason I love rock and metal to this day. And they just fit the games. They fit the vibe so fucking perfectly that you had no choice but to just fall in love with pro wrestling and become addicted to this shit. Or at the very least, become addicted to playing the video games with your friends. Nothing screamed peak boys being boys behavior more than walking home with your boys from school, wrestling in the backyard, and then coming into the house to grab some chips, some Dr. Peppers, some cookies. You grab 2 controllers and you give one of them to whoever is talking the most shit and wants to get their ass kicked first. You boot the game up and immediately Bullet with a Name by Nonpoint starts playing. And everyone starts to lock in. Whoever's playing, you two are now enemies. And everyone who is watching starts to get hyped. Everyone's taking bets on who's gonna win. And the ultimate sign of dominance is who makes who bleed first. Fucking take me back. And what's crazy is that in the 2K games, you literally gotta turn that shit on. The blood isn't even like a regular feature anymore. God, I miss those days. Those older wrestling games, dude, were just fucking peak. But I fully understand that nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Obviously, I'm gonna be biased towards the old games because that's what I grew up with. And everybody's biased towards what they grew up with. I get it. So I wanted to know, am I really just biased or were those old games truly better? So I wanted to look at some concrete data. I wanted to know what the highest selling wrestling games of all time are. And when I looked at the list of the top 10 highest selling WWE video games of all time, my jaw hit the fucking floor. Because I was expecting at least some of the WWE 2K series to be on this list. And to my amazement, the only WWE 2K game on this list is WWE 2K15, which is absolutely hysterical because WWE 2K15 is widely regarded as one of the shittiest and most disappointing wrestling games ever made. To this day, the most successful WWE video game ever made is still SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, which is estimated to have sold around nearly 8 million copies. Holy shit. Which is followed in second place by SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, which is followed by WWF Warzone, which is followed by SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, which is followed by the original SmackDown game, which is followed by SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and so on. You get the jig. Pretty much any super successful wrestling game came from almost 20 years ago, and some from even over 20 years ago, but almost nothing from today, which is really fucking sad. So it looks like I'm not crazy. It looks like the games really did peak when I was a kid. But why is that? Because on paper, it makes no sense. The games really should be a lot better now. With the levels that technology has advanced to in the last 20 years, there's really no excuse. The games now should be better. But the numbers literally prove that wrong. Why are games from over 20 years ago outperforming the games of today? Like, why is the WWE 2K series so culturally irrelevant? And to me, the answer is very, very simple. The games just started to become less fun to play. For so many years, the WWE 2K games have really been based on realism. Not what's more fun, but what's more real. Tony Pizza Guy made a really great video about this, and he put it into words that I truly never could have. He explained in detail that the reason why modern wrestling games are so frustrating to play is because they have implemented what's called rubber band momentum that the older games never had. Basically, the game will change the entire pace of the match. All the stamina, the speed, the entire flow of the match will be changed to make things more even. And it's not because of anything that you did as the player. The game is doing this behind your back. The biggest thing that the WWE 2K games fear is one person dominating the match. The game at all costs is going to try to stop one person from burying the other because it's not realistic. 2K wants every single match to be a 5-star Dave Meltzer classic. It's the exact reason why they've added the star system to all the recent games. It's why if you're absolutely kicking your opponent's ass and then you try to end the match early, it's gonna try to make you feel bad. It'll blatantly remind you that like, oh, this is a 1.5 star match. You're not gonna end it with only 1.5 stars, are you? You're better than that. Come on, keep playing. Do some more offense. Well, not that offense though. You've already done that. Try doing a different move. Okay, now do a different one. Actually, you know what? Get into a reversal chain. Do a taunt, work the crowd. Yeah, this is awesome. Going for a pin after hitting your third finisher? How dare you? It's only a 3-star match. The game literally forces you to play the way that it wants you to play. It completely disregards skill and or fun for the sake of keeping things even and realistic. It's basically the wrestling game version of skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. They don't want anyone having the upper hand or truly showcasing their skill. They want every single match to be a sweat. They don't want anyone dominating. What they want is people on the edge of their seat and always clamping their fucking ass cheeks. Because that is how a wrestling match actually goes in real life. But the problem with that is it's so dishonest to the player. It's not a fair assessment of how good they are at the game. It's basically them saying, we're gonna nerf you for the sake of keeping a realistic pace. And that is why, at its core, the 2K games just aren't as fucking fun. Cause back in the day, being good at the game actually fucking meant something. If you were good, those leaderboards did not lie. And if you sucked, tough shit, get good, bro. Looks like a skill issue to me. And that is how it should be, because that is fun. If you actually built up enough momentum to get to your finisher back then, that fucking meant something. If you were on the receiving end, it did not look good for you, bro. Whereas now, you could hit your finisher 500 times and it's still not good enough to get a 5-star match. And it will demonize you for trying to end the match. I don't know. I feel like because of that, because it purposely nerfs you, I can't imagine kids having that communal experience that we had as kids when we would kick our friends' asses in the game. Because back then, it was earned. It felt so good because the game wasn't forcing you to do anything. If you were good, you were gonna win. If you sucked, you were gonna lose. And the game wasn't gonna do anything to stop that. Which is what made those older wrestling games so fun. They were a genuine assessment of your skill, which we just simply cannot say anymore. And it's what makes modern wrestling games so mediocre. For so many years, I've tried to put into words this exact thing, and I tried to figure out how to say why it's so boring. While playing modern wrestling games, I've always just felt creatively restricted as a player, if that makes sense. And now finally learning that there's an actual word for this, it's called rubber band momentum, it makes so much sense now. It's been in the games ever since WWE 2K15, and I think that's why 2K15 was the peak of the 2K franchise in terms of revenue. People bought that game thinking it was going to be revolutionary for wrestling games. They played it, said, this shit sucks, and never bought another one ever again. And we've reached a point in the 2K franchise where they are so creatively bankrupt that they have to put out 4 different versions of WWE 2K26 to actually get you to buy the game. And it's 100% just a ploy to distract you from the fact that it's the same shit again. Long gone are the days where you'd get a unique game every single year. Now you just get a retread of the previous year's game over and over again. Even Call of Duty admitted that dropping a game every single year in today's day and age, it's not feasible. If you expect a high-quality game, they need time to be made. But with how money-hungry, greedy, and corporate fucking criminals that 2K are, you know they're never gonna prioritize quality over quantity. They're always going to want to release a game every single year because fucking that's 2K. They don't give a shit about reskinning the same game over and over again. If it's going to make them money, they're going to do it. But it doesn't make that much money. Now does it? Nor do their games have any cultural relevance. It just feels like to the general public, wrestling games are a bygone has-been thing. They're a relic of the past. It feels like most people have just left them behind. It feels like nobody gives a shit about them anymore. I know I don't. Like, there's kind of a reason why I just stopped reviewing the games every single year. It's because I just have nothing to say about them. Like, they're just... I don't think they're necessarily bad games. Like, trust me, a decade ago, the older 2K games, like the pre-2K19 era, now those games were bad. We were fucking suffering back then. I definitely think the 2K franchise has come a long way since then, and they've improved the games to the point where they're passable. But let's not pretend like they're the type of shit where you play a few games and after that you kind of get bored. I played a lot of WWE 2K22, and then I played 23 less. I barely touched 24. 25? I played it for 2 days, bruh. And 2K26, I'm not buying this shit. At least not at launch. I just don't have it in me anymore. I'll wait for a massive discount because A, 2K doesn't deserve my money, and B, I just don't even want it right now. The only reason I would buy it right now is to buy it for my collection, but I can just fucking wait until it's half the price, if not less. It's just more 2K slop. That's all it is. I think unless this franchise takes like a massive turn in creative direction, I'm done buying these games at launch. And I advise and encourage everybody else to do the same. If we want good wrestling games again, like if we want to see actual fucking change, we need to stop giving 2K our money. It worked with Call of Duty. Will it work for 2K? It's the only thing that could. I don't know. I just miss when wrestling games were so fucking good that you'd no-life the shit out of it. Ones that had fun gameplay that didn't restrict you with really good animations that were just fucking brutal and easy to pick up and play. Ones that aren't just soulless fucking cash grabs. Is it so selfish of me to ask for that? I guess so. Because even AEW Fight Forever couldn't cut the mustard. And oh, that game came so close, man. I'm gonna talk about that another time. But until then, I think wrestling games are just cooked. It's over. At least modern ones. It's going to take a minor miracle to somehow revive them, but right now, they are not doing good sales-wise. They're not fun to play. They're reskinned cash grabs, and they have next to no cultural relevance. Cooked. Go to a retro game store, buy yourself a PS2 and an Xbox 360, and buy all the old games from 20 fucking years ago. Because unfortunately, they still clear anything from today.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
This has been your boy, Dino fucking Ambrose, and I am out.